The 10 most protected people in the world. Some of the most important, powerful, and influential people in the world have some of the most impressive, huge, lethal, and, in some cases, bizarre security agencies, forces, and special security units that can exist. These political leaders, business tycoons, monarchs, or celebrities can change the lives of millions and millions of people, for better or worse, with the decisions they make. Therefore, your integrity and that of your family is something of extreme importance. These soldiers, policemen, or guards train for many years to be chosen to cover their backs and sacrifice their lives for that of a VIP. In some cases, we can't see them or only see a few. But in reality, there are hundreds of people on monitors and in the distance, watching over every step, word, and action of the leader and everything around him. That's their magic, staying in the shadows and acting when necessary. To quote Uncle Ben, "With great power comes great responsibility." But rather, I would say that great power brings with it a large number of enemies, and therefore also entails obtaining a huge army to protect you. Bring the food, sit back, and get ready to meet the 10 most protected people in the world. Welcome to Top USA Entertainment. Number 10. The most protected couple, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The happy marriage of the British royal family, Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle, are undoubtedly the most guarded and best protected couple that exists today. It is estimated that the people involved in making them safe are about 1,000. Yes, 1,000 people who dedicate all their working hours to making sure that nothing can harm them. During their diplomatic trips to other nations, their personal security corps is responsible for selecting official residences that have been carefully selected based on security and logistics. During the royal couple's wedding, an estimated $8.7 million, plus another $4.7 million, was spent on police services to keep all guests safe, and that included Queen Elizabeth II. The security team for the wedding allegedly included rooftop snipers, undercover cops positioned in the crowd, months of anti-terror investigation, and a search for triggers throughout the venue. As their wedding posed a particular risk due to Harry's military service in Afghanistan and the anthrax threats Meghan previously had. However, it was not long before Harry and Meghan decided to move to Frogmore Cottage, a huge mansion about 45 minutes from London, very close to the famous Windsor Castle, and where they currently raise their children Archie and Lilibet. According to Kathy Nicole, an expert on British royal family affairs, the place is basically like a fortress, and according to some magazines, Frogmore Cottage is Fort Knox style, as it has high-tech cameras and sensors around the entire perimeter. Number 9. The most protected athlete, Floyd Mayweather Jr. Undefeated boxer Floyd Mayweather Jr. is undoubtedly the most protected athlete on the planet. First, we must understand that boxing is one of the most lucrative sports in the world. For this reason, one of its biggest stars in history protects himself from everything, and more knowing that Floyd has a value of more than $500 million, and is a fan of carrying jewelry with the value of a mansion or hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash. It's no secret that Floyd Mayweather boasts luxurious mansions, exclusive sports cars, and businesses all over the world. But Floyd is always accompanied by 2, 3, 4, 6, or even 8 security guards, who by their physique are almost impossible to knock down by the photographs that are seen. And considering the height of Floyd, several of his guards measure more than 2 meters and almost certainly weigh much more than 190 kilograms. These guards are not just ornamental. They really take care of protecting the undefeated boxer at all times, and that's what I mean in that Floyd has access to them 24 hours a day. In addition, its multiple mansions and vacation homes have advanced security systems that allow you to sleep peacefully at night. Number 8. The most protected CEO, Mark Zuckerberg. The CEO of Facebook and other companies such as WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram is one of the most protected young billionaires on the planet, and it is not for less knowing his importance in the world of business and online communication. Mark may seem like a fairly straightforward guy, and one who is not a fan of the luxuries of capitalism, but his confidence is something he does not take lightly, and less when we talk about money. There are figures that Mark Zuckerberg spends about $9 million a year on his security, that of his relatives and his main partners. And from 2015 to date, there are already more than $30 million spent between guards, security systems, and private planes, and the bill continues to rise. Mark Zuckerberg is not a person commonly seen in public, but when he does, he is always surrounded by multiple guards. These bodyguards are sometimes called Zuckerberg's secret police. Some rumors suggest that this security corps is composed of 16 full-time guards who work in shifts at all times. According to Facebook, Zuckerberg's comprehensive security program is a way to deal with threats to his security that arose directly as a result of his position as founder, chairman, and CEO of Facebook. But in part, today those expenses are much more important. Facebook has been involved in multiple scandals for using its companies to get information from people around the world in an unethical way, and for which Facebook has faced threats, lawsuits, and fines of millions and millions of dollars. Number 7. The most protected sovereign leader, Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth II, who was the great angelic monarch for decades, was undoubtedly of special importance to the country. Let's not discuss whether it is necessary. Simply, according to the traditions of Great Britain, to have a queen is an extremely precious and priceless treasure, and we're taking into account that she was one of the monarchs who has lived the longest. For this reason, Queen Elizabeth II had one of the most impressive security forces that can exist. The most visible and famous line of its defense is the iconic Queen's Guard, which is known above all for its elaborate marching shows, its red uniforms, black helmets, and its unwavering countenance during guard service. But in reality, these men are trained to face any threat, and their assault rifle is no toy. However, the most important line of security to keep Her Majesty safe is the Royal Protection Squad, also known as Scotland Yard Elite Squad, which was formed in 1983 and reportedly consists of up to 185 officers trained by the SAS. This squad is responsible for providing round-the-clock security. In addition, Queen Elizabeth II had security guards and filtered who accompanied her at all times, and with whom she had keys, protocols, and special messages that she sent them in case she felt in a dangerous situation. The most urgent signal is when it spins its ring, as it means it needs to be saved immediately, the Telegraph reported. Although the English royals' expenses on security are private, they are definitely not cheap at all. In 2010, it was speculated that security may have cost around $100 million a year to provide 21 family members 24 hours a day, where the Queen clearly headed the budget. Number 6. Most protected Arab leader, Mohammed bin Salman. Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud is the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Yes, the nation with the most oil in the world, and one of the richest. Mohammed bin Salman is not only a prince, but also the country's deputy prime minister, chairman of the Economic and Development Affairs Council, chairman of the Political and Security Affairs Council, and defense minister. Bin Salman has spent more than $20 billion on military equipment in recent years. It is almost a given that, if there is a new military development in any country in the world, Saudi Arabia has already done its order. Prince bin Salman is particularly known not only for his huge mansions, sports cars, exotic pets, and anything that costs millions and millions of dollars, but also for being a pretty brutal leader, if we can define it in any way, as he is famous for ending the life of anyone who criticizes his rule, internally or externally. For this reason, and in large part because of the numerous enemies that Saudi Arabia already has historically, it is more than clear that he is one of the most protected people on the planet. Rumor has it that even more than his father, the king. In large part, Mohammed bin Salman is protected by the Presidency of State Security, which is something like Saudi Arabia's CIA. Bin Salman's hundreds and hundreds of personal guards are from Special Forces units and are equipped with the best weaponry and equipment that petrodollars can afford. There is not much information about bin Salman's complete safety. We are talking about an extremely hermetic country, where there is no freedom of the press. But during his vacation in the Maldives, it was reported that the prince and future king had about 100 heavily armed personal guards. Number 5. The most protected politician, Xi Jinping. As China's leading man, it is no wonder that Xi Jinping is very well guarded. He and the other leaders of the Communist Party are protected by an elite guard unit called the Central Security Bureau, which is a notoriously secretive organization. To this day, the most public appearance of its leader, His Excellency Wang Xiaojun, occurred in 2015 when he attended a banquet at the White House, and we only know his highly classified daily work because the official guest list casually mentioned the title of his position. Major General Wang holds a very influential position within China, as the Guard Central Office has thousands of elite troops who are tasked with protecting the country's top brass and their families. However, it is not until Xi Jinping makes a trip on board that he reveals on the true extent of his security needs during a visit to Hong Kong. In 2017, a massive security blanket wrapped around the area. Some parts of the city were shut down, as 11,000 police officers did their best to keep the president safe, making use of helicopters and mobile barricades 1.80 meters high. Although there is no official data on the number of attempts on his life, it is said that Xi Jinping is the person with the highest number of attacks in the world, and it is not surprising when we understand that China is the most populous and subdued country on the planet. That means they have a serious number of bodyguards, protecting him every step of the way. In addition, today this secret security body makes use of helicopter drones to keep the top Chinese leaders safe, and also have a squad of soldiers dedicated to cybersecurity that today has already become a weapon. Number 4. The most protected religious leader, Pope Francis. The Pope is both Bishop of Rome and ex-officio leader of the world. As head of the Catholic Church, and like the president of a country, he too needs maximum protection, and not exactly from the angels in heaven. Pope Francis probably resides in one of the most armored cities in the world. Yes, Vatican City, a city-state of Rome, Italy. Its first line of defense is the Pontifical Swiss Guard, which is a unit of armed forces and honor guards maintained by the Holy See and which protects the Pope in the Apostolic Palace, serving as the de facto army of Vatican City. This military force was founded in 1506 under the mandate of Pope Julius II. In fact, the Swiss Guard is one of the oldest military units in operation. The more than 100 elements that make it up seem to be only ornamental, using heavy metal armor, spears, and carrying swords in the 21st century. But in reality, they are a lethal force made up of the best soldiers Switzerland has to offer. They are perfectly capable of disabling anyone who tries to threaten His Holiness. The Swiss Guard actually has one of the most advanced arsenals in the world, and that includes the incredible and modern MP7 submachine guns. The Swiss Guard selection process seeks candidates who demonstrate extreme dedication, physical prowess, higher education, and military capabilities. Once he proves that he complies with the rules of the Swiss Guard, he is sworn in by the Pope himself. Training includes crowd control, VIP protection, use of firearms and non-lethal weapons, surveillance, and many tactics the job requires. In addition to the Swiss Guard, Vatican City has its own police, known as the Gendarmerie Corps of Vatican City State, and they help the Swiss Guard during the Pope's apparitions, especially in St. Peter's Square and abroad, as well as provide general security, traffic direction, and investigative tasks for Vatican City. The small, but highly trained, force includes a counterattack team and an anti-sabotage unit that deals with the disposal of detonating devices. Number 3. The most protected dictator, Kim Jong-un. The years have made it clear to us that the Supreme Commander, alias dictator of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, is a rather interesting character. North Korea is one of the most controlled societies in the world, but its leader's security is still iron as steel. During his visit to Singapore in 2018, this video of the North Korean leader's car went viral, accompanied by several members of his secret, following him closely in a perfectly coordinated trot. It turns out that Kim Jong-un not only has a few super soldiers watching his back, but he has his own army that is believed to number about 100,000 to 120,000 men. This elite unit is called the Supreme Guard Command and essentially serves as Kim's highly trained personal army, and which depends directly and completely on him, according to Lee Yun-kim, a North Korean defector who'd served in the security of Kim Jong-II, Kim Jong-un's father, wrote in his 2013 memoirs that up to 6 different layers of security guards protected the leader on his travels to inspect military units, factories, or farms. In addition, the defector wrote that it is one of the most airtight security blankets in the world, through which even a single ant would find it difficult to pass. You should know that each of these men spends his entire life training to be part of the North Korean leader's bodyguard. According to testimony from North Korean defector Lee Dong-kyung, the guard's recruiters are looking for new soldiers in schools where students are in line for inspection. Recruits are taken to training camps for 6 months and are trained for a total of 2 years. Training includes taekwondo classes, defensive shooting, full-throttle 25-kilometer marches, and special operations tactics. However, it is believed that the bodyguards seen on the president's visits are not really the elite of the elite. The real protectors are nearby, but not visible, blending into the shadows and reacting in case of any threat. I know, it sounds too Hollywood, but hey, what can you expect from the leader of the most isolated country that exists? Number 2. The most protected billionaire, Donald Trump. Donald Trump was not only the president of one of the most powerful countries in the world, the United States. He is also a billionaire who has hundreds and hundreds of businesses around the globe. It is estimated that Donald Trump, with a net worth of about $3.1 billion, which automatically makes him the most protected billionaire on Earth. Obviously, the position of President of the United States of America has always come with high security budgets, but Donald Trump broke that historical record. For example, protecting former President Barack Obama and his family for a year cost about $16 million. However, Trump raised that deadline to an impressive amount of $29 million. And that was not impressive. In 2017, the U.S. Congress budgeted $120 million for the security of the former president and his family for a year. The Secret Service is the elite unit that is responsible for protecting the integrity of the president. We are talking about more than 7,000 elements, perfectly coordinated and ready for any situation that threatens the life of the U.S. president. These members include K-9 units, emergency response teams, snipers, motorized units, special operations teams, and of course, the very guards who are responsible for being only a few meters away from the president to protect him at all costs, even if it costs them their lives. The Secret Service is made up of military and police officers who have excelled above all others thanks to their great skills and characteristics. The position of Secret Service Special Agent is very competitive. On average, only less than 1% of those applying for a position are accepted. In addition, as extra data, we must add that Donald Trump is transported in a limousine known as the Beast, which in short is the safest vehicle on the planet. Yes, much more than a war tank. And when Trump was transported to other countries, he makes use of Air Force One. In the same way, it is the safest presidential plane on the planet, and which had almost always been escorted by 2 F-35 fighter jets armed to the teeth. Number 1. The most protected president? Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin is not only the president of Russia, he is also the most powerful person on the planet. And yes, he has the largest arsenal of nuclear weapons in the world, which gives a plus to his importance and, therefore, to his personal security, of which an agency known as the Federal Protection Service is responsible. But like China, the Russian government remains steadfast in revealing information about this elite agency that protects the number one body, that is, the Russian president and his family. In fact, there is no data on their operations, and few publicly available reports are so secret that for most things only assumptions can be made, but ultimately keeping Putin alive for so many years in the presidency makes it clear to us that what they are doing very well. Since Russia is not considered the friend of the world, it has many external and internal enemies who would be eager to bring down its greatest pillar, the president. What little is known is that for 16 years, the Federal Protection Service was headed by General Yevgeny Murov, who, like the Russian leader, emerged from the Leningrad power structures of the late Soviet period. But several years ago, Putin accepted Murov's resignation and appointed his deputy, Muscovite Dmitry Kokhnev. Sometimes officers of the Federal Protective Service dress in black suits with a microphone in their ear, and sometimes dress as civilians and get lost in the crowd. Only the most reliable work there. In addition, they also protect judges, witnesses, officials, and official sites, such as the Kremlin and the State Duma. The agency has about 50,000 troops and several thousand posing as civilians who control the Cheget, that is, the briefcase with which Vladimir Putin can start a world nuclear war. The agency also has no shortage of resources to do its job. There's talk of hundreds of millions of dollars going into the president's security, and we talk about the people involved having a range of rights and powers, including the right to conduct warrantless searches and surveillance, make arrests, seize suspicious vehicles, and give orders to other powerful state agencies. Let us know in the comments which is the protected person who has surprised you the most in this video. For more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to click on the notification bell. If you liked this video, subscribe to the channel. Remember, this was Top USA Entertainment. I wish you an excellent day. Thanks for watching. See you next time.